Hello gamers, it's SoftKitty99 in Minecraft, and in the last video we built this shopping centre out of the sandstone with the prismarine on the roof, and I said that I would come back and take a look at building some shops and stores inside the building. So I think what we'll do is probably start with some of these small shops next to where the town hall is, in this back entrance behind the flower shop, and start with some of these little counters here. I think perhaps we could do some stalls for like beverages, maybe cakes and things, and we're going to want a snack stall as well, maybe sandwiches and foods, and possibly a seating area. So those four shops over here, one of them, probably the biggest one, could be seating, and the other three could be, maybe one could be cakes, another one beverages, and then the third one could be a stall for hot food perhaps. Would that work? That might work, mightn't it? So let's have a think about what we want to do with them. So we're going to need space for the staff to get in. So I think perhaps we'll have remove one of the blocks here, and then we can put in something like a trap door. We've got to have a think about what sort of workspace we might want to use. So if we think colours, perhaps we use a spruce trapdoor, because that will look a bit like a that could work, couldn't it? And then what we're going to want for the front counter, we're probably not going to want this white, or are we? Actually, if we use the spruce for all of the trapdoors for the staff to get in and out, and then we think about the uniform, do we make them uniform or do we make them all different? And do we make one bigger? Are they all the same size? Why does this one feel smaller than these? When it isn't, is it? It's exactly the same size. So why does that look to me like it's littler? It's because it's not got the wall on the side, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they are the same size. So it's really weird that that feels smaller to me than the others. Okay, so I'm going to have a think about this, what we're going to do with each of these. So I've had a little think about what I'd like to do, and I've decided that for the floors in all of these things, I'd quite like to use the kelp flooring, so the dried kelp block, because it looks like this sort of tiling you'll get on a kitcheny floor. So if we use that as the flooring for the food outlets, I think that that will actually fit the theme of what we're going for here. So I'm going to pop in that as flooring all throughout, and I think these front rows we're going to need to remove these and put in a counter for serving the food to people. So I'm just going to remove those marker walls and pop in the kelp flooring first, and then we'll start on working out what all of these shops are going to look like on the interiors. They're all going to be fairly simple. They're because they're so small, they're all going to be relatively simple, I think. So we're going to have 3 shops built like that. So remove this front wall here and add in the flooring. So I need to do that under where the trapdoor for the stuff to get in and out is going to be. And then we fill in the area. I mean, you can fill this bit in as well, but that's just going to be hidden by the counters around the area. And of course, because this one goes around the side, we can also add the counter along there as well. You could put a second trapdoor in that side if you liked, but I think it's better to have it in the less accessed space, because this is going to be one of the main doors. There and there are the main doors, and this one's kind of the side door that I'm not expecting many people to use, so that's where I kind of think of what we'll use for the side doors. So I've grabbed 3 different types of metals that I think I should use for the counter space. So we're going to use the polished diorite for the first one. So I'm just going to go around the edges of where I want the counters, around the edge here, all the way like so. So that's going to be the service area basically. And then for my second one I'm going to use the block of iron for the counter surfaces. So I think I'm going to do that for what will be the cake shop. So the one that I want to make a cake shop, I actually want to have 2 rows of the counter like so. And then for the third one I'm going to use smooth stone. Just go along like so. And then for the workspace, for the people making things, we're going to want to have different types of woods to utilise the space. So I'm going to use the stripped dark oak log in the first one. So if we go, oh, that's interesting. I thought the stripped logs had the flat surfaces all the way along. Is that the wrong one? So if I remove that stripped dark oak, is that right? Stripped dark oak wood, that's the one. I want the block that has the wood surface all the way along, so we can go all the way along like so. But of course we're going to want space for cooking, so we're going to decide where you're going to want space for cooking. So I'm going to take one out here, right in the middle of the windows. I'm going to take out 2 blocks and I'm going to put the furnaces in just in like so. And then I'm going to do the same in all of the other ones with different types of wood. So the first one we've used the stripped dark oak wood. In the second one I'm going to use the stripped jungle wood. So we'll leave a space right under the centre of the window and add the furnaces in the space there like that. And then in the third one I'm going to use stripped spruce wood. So we go along here, leave space right in the middle of the windows like so, and add the furnaces in there and there. So that's the same style for each of the units that I'm going to make food units. So choose a type of wood, use the stripped versions, the ones that have the same patterned wood on all the surfaces, lay out a counter, add in a couple of furnaces, put in your countertop in your chosen stone block, whichever one you like, add in a trapdoor for access for your staff and use the kelp blocks for the floor. So we're going to do the same there for every different type of stall, and then we're going to now customise them slightly differently. So I've used the iron blocks on this one and made a double row of the counter because I'm going to turn this one into a cake shop. So what we want to do is remove all of this stuff, and then we want to start looking for items that we want in a cake shop. So we're going to want a cake that we can put on display for people to see. Now very few things I think can actually be put out, so you're going to have to decide what you want for your cake. But what we can do, I think, is use some other items that look cakey for boards at the back of the restaurant space to tempt people into purchasing things. So you can use anything that looks cakey, so berries, cookies, different fruit types, other types of pies, things that look like fruits and different flavours for cakes and fruits and things that you could be selling in your fruit shop. Now what else we're going to want is some glass for the counter space. So I think we'll go for the plain glass pane. And we're also going to want something that will look like a cash register. Now traditionally I've used stairs, so if we type stair and then look for something that we can use. In the past I've often used these stone bricks, but I think now that we have the polished versions, I think a polished andesite for a cash register might work quite nicely. So we'll also want the board space to mark things up. So if we grab where's the board? No, not the painting, the board. There's the board. Look, we can use the board. So first thing to do is grab the glass pane, and what I'm thinking we do is on this first row we can add in like a shield to protect the food from people breathing onto it. So you come all the way around, and then we're going to want a cash register. Now we can either put the cash register next to the space for the staff to come in, or you can put it at the opposite end. So I think what I will do is knock the final one off and add the andesite till there, see, for the staff. In fact, I think we'll remove one more so that we've then got a little bit of space. So the staff will stand here and ring it up at the till, and then they can put the purchasers next to the till for the customers to pick up, and the customers can use the space behind the till to, say if it's a lady with a handbag, she can pop the handbag on there in order to get to her purse and hand over the cash. And then of course I don't think we can put anything else down, can we, besides I think the cake really is the only thing. Yeah, just double check that the new updates haven't changed that. We can't put anything down except for the cake. So I'm going to put cake all along here for the display for people to take. So you could stand here with your nose pressed against the glass and say, oh, do I want that lemon puff pastry, or do I want that chocolate muffin, or do I want that blueberry muffin, or do I want that scone with cream and strawberry jam, or should I have that cake with the orange in it, or should I have the chocolate cake or the pecan pie, or whatever your own personal preference is. You can be looking at that and thinking, what do I want, what do I want? And then if we grab these boards, we could, of course, put some up the side here. Look, so we could have a couple of boards here with to display things. So we could put like pumpkin pie and apple and cookies and berries. So like you're giving people the idea of what they can purchase. So you could do it like that, or you could come back to your sort of design here with the, if I don't need the glass now, so if we pick up the block of iron again, we could knock out some of these, you see, and change it to iron. If we just knock this row out across here, change them all to iron, and then bring it down by one more, and then along this front you can use these blocks, and you can, so if we're coming two from the side and two from the side there, then we can put these blocks along, see, and we can do what we tried to do before. We can put berries, and we could put cookies, and we could put a melon, and then we could put a pumpkin, and then we could put an apple. And so we could say you can get apple Danish puff pastries, and you can get cherry cheesecake, and you can buy cookies, and you can get melon flavoured pie and pumpkin pie and cake and whatever you can purchase from the shop, you see. And that's kind of what I was thinking for my little shop, you see. So we've got the idea, you see, of what you can do there. Oh, there we go. And that is kind of what I was thinking, you see, for the shop style, and you can adjust it to be whatever you like. So for instance, we could also, if we pop in here and come down, instead of just having the plain top over here, you could look for something to put on top of it. So you could use like one of these wooden panels or the stone pressure plates. If we use some of these stone pressure plates, we could use those for like cooling racks for your cakes. When the cakes come out the oven, you've got these like cooling racks, so you can use these for cooling racks all the way along. So that would work quite nicely for something like this, yeah. And you could also use these signboards to make like door fronts on the front of your cabinets, and you can put something inside them to make it look like you've got a handle. Maybe not that, maybe one of the buttons to look like a handle. So we could use a little stone button to, oh, we need to rotate them, don't we? How do we rotate like that? Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, so that then looks like a front of a handle. Oops, no, not the furnace. I'm trying to put buttons on my door fronts. So that kind of looks like the front of a unit, so for putting things in. So you bake your cakes, then you pull them out of the oven and you put them to cool on these racks. Then when they've cooled, you bring them to the front so that you can sell them, and then you put up your specials maybe on this board here, and then your regular items for sale you put on the boards above the door like that, and then you process your sales over here, and people wander off and do whatever they want for the next thing. So that, I think, is my first shop. That's my cake shop. Hope that you've got a little bit of inspiration from this, and in the next episode we'll take a look at the other two shops that we've got here. I think we'll make one of them into a barista's, a coffee house, and then the other one we'll probably make into a place where you can get food like little stews and sandwiches and little cooked meals for eating. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. From SoftKitty99, goodbye and happy gaming!